Praise be to Allah, Lord of the world, Master of the day of judgment. You alone we worship, you alone we ask for help. Guide us onto the straight path, the path of those on whom you have restored your favor, not of those who go astray, nor of those who have your anger. Amen. Today, our General Secretary, the General Secretary of the New Patriotic Party, Dr. BOADU, is the one who is going to address us on post-election matters. Ladies and gentlemen, General Secretary of the New Patriotic Party.
Thank you very much, Chief. Good afternoon to you. So, enjoying and basking in the holy prayers from Chief. Ladies and gentlemen of the media, good afternoon once again, and welcome to this press conference. We want to thank you once again for your continued support in carrying our messages to the Ghanaian people. Together we can build a democracy that is viable and accountable to the people. A democracy that is based on sound reasoning and has evidential value, not a democracy based on emotions, empty effusions, and rabble-rousing meant only to excite our babies and feed our egos. Ladies and gentlemen of the media, we are called to here this afternoon in respect of the presidential and parliamentary elections which were held in our beloved country on the 7th of December 2020, and which ended on the 9th of December 2020 with a definitive pronouncement by the Electoral Commission of the winner of the presidential ballots and the number of parliamentary seats won by the respective political parties. Indeed, just yesterday, for the avoidance of doubt, the EC published the number of parliamentary seats held by the New Patriotic Party and the NDC and an independent candidate. Currently, the NPP has 137 seats. The NDC has 136 seats, and an independent candidate has 1. If you recall, on the 8th of December, the New Patriotic Party held a press conference, and this is exactly what we told you. Because by the structure and the architecture we put in place, by 12 hours after the elections, we were aware of the number of seats that we had. We were aware, the first press conference we held, we were aware that 85% of the polling station results of the presidential had then come in, and our presidential candidate was leading by 52.3% at that time. And clearly, because we were not rabble-rousing, because we were speaking based on facts, even as we speak now, the Electoral Commission yesterday made it clearer that the New Patriotic Party have 137 seats, the NDC has 136, and 1 belongs to an independent candidate. There's one of the seats that is Senior West that is yet to be declared, and we are confident it will go our way. Again, and for the avoidance of doubt, the 2 leading presidential candidates posted the following results. Nana Addo Akufo-Addo, 6,630,413, representing 51.302%. John Dramani Mahama, 6,213,182, representing 47.359%. Nana Addo Akufo-Addo of the NPP won the election emphatically with 4 percentage point difference between him and his closest challenger, John Dramani. This is very clear. And to have a second term in office with 4 percentage points is such a huge feat for any presidential candidate to attain. In fact, in our 4th Republican Constitution and our democracy, we've never had that before. So it is a huge feat. The difference between the two candidates is 517,251. The percentage point scored by the candidate of NPP is one of the highest since 1996. So the presidential election was not even close, and therefore there was nothing contentious about it. So if you listen to the NDC right from day one, they were not even contending about the results coming out of the presidential election. So it is strange now that their candidate has now woken up from the slumber and is talking about presidential elections. Because there's a clear difference of 517,000. It is not as if the contest was close. 4 percentage point difference is no feat achievement ever chalked by any presidential candidate in our country since 1996. In fact, in 2008, the late Professor Mills became president with only 50.2% of valid votes cast. In 2012, John Dramani Mahama was president with 50.7% of the valid vote cast. In fact, no NDC presidential candidate since Jerry John Rawlings has hit the 51% mark in a presidential election. None of them. The 50.2% and the 50.7% that John Mills and John Mahama scored represented 40,586 and 325,863 votes difference between them and another Akufo-Addo. So the nation is at a loss as to how a vote difference of 517,213 can be deemed contentious. Everybody is surprised, and I believe that you are surprised as well. There is absolutely no doubt in anybody's mind that Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo won the 2020 poll emphatically and without doubt. No amount of whining can change that. Ladies and gentlemen of the media, it is important to state that John Dramani Mahama had from the onset declared his intention to reject the result of the election. He has impugned the integrity of the East since the beginning of the year and signaled his unwillingness to accept the results of the poll. So we all know that he is playing according to a script. And we know that the purpose of his effusions is to cut the sympathy of the NDC to put him up again as their presidential candidate in 2024. Well, it is entirely up to him. He said in 2016 that it is elementary politics and an old trick for people who know they are losing an election to seek to impugn the integrity of the EC. This is what he said in 2012. That when people are losing elections, then they start to impugn the integrity of the Electoral Commission. I don't know what he's doing now. It's exactly the same thing that he's doing. But what is strange is the unwillingness of candidate Mahama to go to appropriate forum to make his case. For why, in spite of scoring a poor 47.3% of the votes, he should be handed over the presidency. His logic beggars belief. That is his logic. The presidency is not his exclusive right to own. In 2012, we also felt cheated. Our presidential candidate, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, told his supporters that he didn't want one drop of Ghanaian blood to be shared for him to be president. In fact, the New Patriotic Party at its National Council decided that the party and its presidential candidate should go to court to seek redress. And that there's no need, if you remember, our supporters were massing up at the grassroots. We were the ones who went and dispersed them. We felt that the appropriate forum for redress is the law court, and we did exactly that. He said he would take his case to court, exactly. And he did exactly that. Even when the court made a pronouncement and he disagreed with the verdict of the court, he accepted it with grace and dignity and bounced back to win the 2016 elections. This was a decision that he made. He didn't even wait for National Executive or National Council to sit down to deliberate on the verdict and the process. Because I know a good number of our people were not happy. They thought that he had a chance for even a redress, for a review. And he felt that the Ghanaian people need peace. The Ghanaian people need to go about their daily lives without any hindrance. So he accepted, even though he disagreed with the verdict of the court. That is what a Democrat does. The presidency is obtained by running in a presidential election conducted by Electoral Commission of Ghana and garnering 50% plus 1 of the votes, valid vote cast. Nothing else justifies a claim to the Jubilee House. Unfortunately for John Dramani Mahama, only a court of competent jurisdiction has the authority to hand him the presidency, in spite of his poor showing in the elections. But he knows that cause don't operate according to the whims of a presidential candidate behaving like a child crying over candies. Court operates according to evidence. We know that John Dramani Mahama has become the butt of many jokes in Ghana today. But this new law that he has sung sinks his image completely. Whether as a human being or as John Dramani Mahama, his effusions further exposes what is known for his credentials as an incompetent person. Because I can't imagine, as we speak now, he's not able to tell the Ghanaian people the total number of votes he got, that he thinks that the Electoral Commission had cheated him. He's not able to do so. When he was asked just yesterday by VOA, he said, oh, he's doing an audit. Almost 10 days after elections. We, in 12 hours, knew exactly the number of votes that our presidential candidate had garnered. We knew. We had all the pink sheets from the 38,000 plus polling stations. This is how a competent political party behaves. This is how a competent government and its political party behave. I'm surprised that you are incompetent in government, you come to opposition and you are worse. You cannot endanger the security of our country on the altar of your selfish interests. That will not be accepted. You cannot be a president at all costs. John Dramani Mahama is asking other people's children to hit the streets for him to be candidates of his party in 2024, whilst his children are locked away in comfort and luxury in and out of Ghana. That is most irresponsible, to say the least. Regarding the parliamentary elections, the results were collated and declared in all the 274 constituencies at the collation centers of the constituencies across the country, except that of Senate West, which is yet to be declared. And as I said, we are confident that if Senate West is declared, the New Patriotic Party will add that one to our basket, making it 138. The EC has affirmed that indeed the New Patriotic Party has majority of seats as of now. Yet the NDC continue to insist that they have a parliamentary majority in spite of this glaring fact. I shudder to understand whether the basic 1, 2, 3, 4 that all of us were taught right at nursery, they also went through that process. Because even having churned out misinformation, they didn't have any collation system in place to do. There's no doubt about it. They didn't have any system in place to check whether they won or not. They didn't put any system in place to follow up their pink sheet collection, their collation sheet collection from constituency to region and all that. But as we speak now, they should be clear. It should be clear to them that they don't have the 140 seats they are talking about. And they can't have it. Not in this election. It is important to remind the NDC that they are not entitled to their own set of facts. In an election, pink sheets are the primary document by which victors and vanquished are decided. The results that the EC has put out has been corroborated by BOADU, endorsed as free and fair by the EU mission, resolved by the media. The media houses started calling the elections. TV3 did, Joy FM did, GH1 did. Almost all the media houses that were collating the results called the elections before even getting the 275 constituency results. In some cases, when they reach 265, they realize that even if, as I quote Dr. Perijan, even if all the rest is added to the second place person, the new patriotic party candidate, Nana Addo was getting over 50%. The result that the EC put out are already indicated. It cannot be the case that all these international reputable organizations are in court with the EC to steal an election. The election of Nana Addo as president-elect of the Republic of Ghana reflects the will of the Ghanaian people, reflecting on the work that Akufo-Addo-led government has done in the last 4 years to advance the development of the country. We therefore call on all Ghanaians to condemn without reservation the intransigence of the NDC and urge the NDC to resort to the court to address their grievances if they have any. If they believe they have any. We call on the security agencies to be resolute and protect the state. We are confident that the majority of Ghanaians believe in and accept the verdict of the election as rendered by the electoral commission and supported by all except the NDC. The closeness of the parliamentary vote is Ghanaian way of telling us to collaborate and avoid the adversarial politics that has characterized most of our post-republican politics. We accept this challenge. We shall work with the minority for the interest of the country. It is important to again say that we also dispute the results of some of the parliamentary results. But we have not asked our supporters to go on the street to protest these results. Our lawyers are putting our evidence together through the court to challenge them. And I can cite one typical straightforward example of Banka constitution. When we put our activities together, we realize that we are winning by 87 margins. That means that our parliamentary candidates should have been the ones to declare the parliamentary candidate elect. We are not asking our supporters to go on the street. The election has been declared as a constituency. So the best way for us out is to seek redress in the law court. And I think that that's what every different political party and every different candidate has. All of a sudden, we are hearing about auditing and having a where does this place in our political arrangement? Either the CI 127 or our national constitution, or where does this place? And how independent would that independent body be done? Instead of you to do your work by independently following and collating your results, you decided to shed that responsibility. And you are now asking an independent. Where does that fall? Where in our democracy does that fit into the current arrangement? I think it is better for him to come up to terms with what has happened. We've lost the election by a margin of over 500,000. Ladies and gentlemen of the media, we want to continue to ask the NDC to put out their numbers for the presidential ballot if they have any. They dispute what EC has put out. They dispute what BOADU has put out. They dispute what all the media houses have put out. So what in their estimation is the correct result? the media should demand this from them. What is their estimation is the correct result for both their presidential candidates and that of His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo? On our part, the election is over. We have set up our transitional team as demanded by the Constitution. We are moving on with the business of governance. We shall not be distracted. Let the Ghanaian people speak up. The National Peace Council, the National House of Chiefs, and civil society organizations speak up and tell John Dramani Mahama that this country is bigger than its head. I want to use this opportunity to commend what Asin Central, for instance, did last weekend. They had a float, they had a Thanksgiving service. I want to see by this weekend all all our constituency party, whether we won or lost, to have such an important celebration in order to ginger our supporters on the ground. But on the 27th of December, we are following what we did last Friday, led by the Chief Imam, to thank Allah for giving us mercy, for giving us peace, for also ensuring that there's peace and tranquility in this country. The Chief Imam prayed for us. We are going to have an interdenominational church service to also thank the good Lord for how far He has brought us. Thank you for coming. May God bless our homeland and make our nation great and strong. Thank you very much. Your friend Mohammed, some the top and say, you better must say, so now is fat, and then your airport will know, who church the woman Ghana for LTS. Said the woman, Usume, I woman, Ederson, like a year presidential and parliamentary elections. Now, you know. New Patriotic Party in the majority seats in Parliament. There were 137 seats. NDC for 136. Independent candidates were Baako. Aka Baako pa eno yenya and declare eno ye Senate West. Na me say declare so a eno so ye be win aka ho. We win eno ka ho a e ma ye 138 seats. Nti sa adwen na NDC for the say, yeah, never form parliament, and no NC net NC of tonight, and also to you is on campaign. And we are parliamentary, you know, presidential also. You go, you know, Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo, and you 6,730,413. And no, you're 51.302%. Yeah, odi so election no Nana Niwa John Dramani Mahama. Ononya 6,213,182. I know you're 47.359%. That is Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. We win election no difference no soon. We share difference between the results no and the John Mahama there now. 517,231. Ukraine from your starting fourth republic, and Koba and said, apart from Nana 2016 winning with 1.5 million, no presidential candidates are on the second term, winning one touch with a difference of 500 even 1,000 and above. Nukwe woman say, Usha 2008 at a most winning with 50.2%. Usha 2012 John Mahama winning with 50.7%. In fact, yeah election, my NDC candidate are winning and 51%. Now Usha 2008 and 2012. difference at a most the winning 40,586. Now difference John Mama the winning to 2012, even that was disputed. No, 325,863. And no did president. No, when no 500,000 and over. And bear who no I can say bear who put the young dividend and bear who and bear difference no as some papa. And then I am one say some of that kaya number sha NDC following to me can so winning presidential no. Can so much winning. There how my gain say and to me and she share party ni to me and fast system be and to what yeah people resource no almost be who resource no some kaya as early as 7th of December yeah press conference be patriotic you catch them exactly the number of seats you winning you catch them say 137 no what the almost game home say when you 140 now you 137 now you 140 and bro 275 now and bro 275 no it is there you said the normal canon and you no crack and basically now and electoral commission side issue statement I can say New Patriotic Party 137 NDC 136 back on your independent candidate I can't say West you be declare and also there you declare the TBR no you be far account you name the NTR your mama yes officer sign contest 2024 nti wa anya say oh ye wia na answer NDC for no nya dia o be sama na akopio so nti I was say oh ye bibi kakra I was say oh to me said you no akan in 2012 no say ulu su election na when you su ye briwa na o say o de ko hye say oh electoral commission nya de electoral commission ayesi eno abi na oye there I again say okay say onya 47.3% no I was saying ka presidency the man as if said your run property mo be kaya initial argument and no mo ye say so we need parliamentary majority pe or say presidency here dey bow sir he say we no so e do so fit ifa because no pray wo mo say nana adodan kwa akufo constituency dey pray o ha ono winning even the parliamentary candidate no elusu here central region is a typical example you winning 10 seats but nana adodan kwa akufo winning 19 seats over Bono region you winning 6 but nana winning 9 seats. In fact, them and South Korea, the difference between Anado and Jomama is close to 12,000. So yeah, parliamentary, you know, now you lose. It's it. Me tiasia bra, me who at the growth of again say, we need parliamentary because the simple facts and this is 20 and I say parliamentary no winning with sometimes 10 votes, 5 votes. If you are 20, if you are less than 100. Do you we need 10 parliamentary seats? Now, Obia winning 1 parliamentary seat, not difference or the winner, no, 30,000. Now, 10 now winning in now, couple one, just about 1,000. It's a who baby or this logic, you know, if they are to say, who will win the presidential candidate of Ghana, electoral commission, the election, also winning 50% plus 1. The day I'll be you, soon I'll be soon. City I'll be city, would you go for good street to swap and position? The electoral commission declare now on Tiasia, the Obeya say, over courts. Now, what challenge? And nothing no parliamentary na here can answer. But that seat you're winning, so you declare my NDC candidate, and not yet the courts. Just as we did in 2012. You in the elections, you win here. The National Council, the presidential candidate party, no why say fan court. You had court for almost 7-8 months. You did assembly here, Yantiasia, Yantiantum, there's no. In the interest of this country, you accept the results, now you Sana any Democrats, not where difference here over 500,000. Now because Professor here presidential candidate now OGG Obia. Ukraine no, who share Kodeo, who share EU mission, who share civil society organizations, who share the media houses now, omunina quality resource now. Omunina jitu mu say New Patriotic Party the candidate John Nana Adampa Akufo-Addo and the winning elections now. If you no, I'm calculating we. Omu do 270 also. Ya ka nyina ya the man John Dramani Mama still over lose elections. In Ghana ha no, sa institutions and international bodies in nyina no. Omu ne electoral commission aboya baako e be so mu wie go ma NPP ana. And our NDC for pet normal facts no omu wo omu bosom ye dey new facts na. Em say we yent to no memo ha na obi selfish interest in ti person some contest elections ni bi ti no o se nkwara enko street so enko ye dede nka ye ken na nka o manso edum bi be o mai o ma juju o mo ho e wo Ghana ha bi so outside the country it Ghana share me ne o ne ye ma e ne ye bebre me nti ni se o se ye so sa asem so enu ti no you afraid the National Peace Council, you afraid the National House of Chiefs, you afraid civil society organization, Monkasa media houses, no, Mamon bench and so Monka and sing a new say, well, we sue election, no, concede the election, no. And then a John Dramani Mama, one taking immediate lesson from Donald Trump. Okay, I will sue elections. You have electoral college here 270. You are no contest and you are 300 and over. Still also want you to. Maybe what contest election? Oh yeah, Ghana Donald Trump.
Trump is better than him.
President Mama is apart from all other things, why you know? Maintain this or say, oh yeah, no pen Donald Trump. And then see the Damascus.